On the news, freedom for now as Ibrahim El-Zakzaki and wife depart Nigeria for India. Nigeria joins the rest of the world to celebrate Festival of Sacrifice. A possible end to blackout as Zimbabwe partners India to generate more power. Hello and welcome to News Now. I am Fidalia Aguncha. Leader of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, Ibrahim El-Zakzaki and his wife Zinat have departed Nigeria for India to seek medical treatment. The couple left the country in a chartered aircraft at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja. Their departure is in compliance with a federal high court order which granted them leave to embark on the journey. The court had ordered that the IMN leader should be accompanied on the trip by officials of the Kaduna State government and the DSS. It is, however, unclear if the couple has met the conditions imposed on them by the Kaduna State government. Among other conditions, the state government had demanded that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs must confirm the appointment of the IMN leader with the hospital in India and undertake all necessary diplomatic arrangements and protocols to ensure compliance with the conditions of the medical leave. The trip is coming years after the couple was arrested in December 2015. And Nigerians actually have been charged to shun all forms of violence and embrace national peace and unity as the country celebrates the Eid al-Kabir festival. The occasion, also known as the Festival of Sacrifice, commemorates the willingness of Ibrahim to follow Allah's command to sacrifice his son. This next report tells us more. In Nigeria, the celebration began on Sunday, August 11, with Muslims gathering at various prayer grounds to mark the occasion. At this center in Ikeja, the prayer session is followed by a brief sermon which hampers on the importance of obedience and humility.
It's a way of telling you that as you own this animal, it's Allah that owns you. As you purchase this animal, you own it, Allah owns you. As you want to do with this animal what you wish, what you desire, Allah does with it.
Executives of the Nasrullahi Lifati Society of Nigeria, NASFAT, elaborate on the importance of the celebration. They urge Christians and Muslims alike to work towards national peace by obeying the laws of their religion.
The word obedience. Whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, do you obey the injunction of your God? If you're a Christian, the Bible is very clear how you treat your neighbor, how you love your neighbor, how you don't kill. If you're a Muslim, the Quran is very clear. The Quran even says the best amongst you is the one that loves what he wants for himself or his neighbor. So if you love your neighbor, will you covet what your neighbor has? Will you kill your neighbor? So the two main religions, if you obey their injunction, we won't be where we are today. We need to obey the injunctions of our religion. We need to obey our constitution. We know worldwide there is no perfect constitution, but there are ways for setting the constitution right. But in the interim, you must obey what is in your constitution.
It is no more news that the economic situation of the country is tense. And to say the fact, it is a global phenomenon. And this is our own portion, this is our own share of the global problem. Every country has its own peculiar problem and challenges. This is ours, this is our country. We have no other place, no other way to go. You can see those people that are out of the country to Libya and whatsoever. You see how they come back because they are all there to add to their own problem too. So all we need to do is to use our religion, our faith that preaches peace, that preaches steadfastness, that preaches resiliency against problem, against predicament. We have to apply all this principle to face the problem at hand. We love one another. We sit side by side with one another, and we are focused on the same subject matters that brings us together, that is the economic problem, and support the government in all strata of the government endeavor to solve the problem and bring succor to the country and bring out of this economic mess, which I'm very sure with steadfastness, with commitment, with resiliency, with truthfulness, with good brotherhood within Muslim and non-Muslim, the government will be comfortable to solve the problem, and the problem will definitely come to an end more than very soon.
Eid al-Kabir is the second of two Islamic holidays celebrated annually. The day is marked with the sacrifice of an animal, usually a goat, sheep, or cow, and the distribution of the meat among neighbors, family members, and the poor. Fidelia Aguncha, TV360 Lagos. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has charged Muslims in Nigeria to kick against all forms of violence. In a message to mark the Eid celebration, the president stressed that Islam is a religion of peace and that violent extremism has become the greatest challenge facing the religion today. He advised parents to protect their children from being exposed to violent extremists who may manipulate and exploit them for evil agenda. Buhari, however, assured Nigerians that his administration was working hard to bring an end to Boko Haram terrorism, kidnappings, and banditry. Still on the Eid celebration in Nigeria, leader of the National Assembly, Ahmed Lawan, has urged Muslim faithfuls in the country to draw inspiration from the exemplary virtues demonstrated by Ibrahim through his sacrifice. Lawan gave the advice in his Eid message released by his spokesperson, Ola Awoniyi. The Senate President also stressed the importance of patience, steadfastness, generosity, and obedience to Allah's command and constituted authority. In the same vein, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) also felicitated with Muslim faithfuls, charging Nigerians to remember the families of fallen heroes as the country celebrates the Eid al-Kabir festival. The party also called for prayers and support for the nation's gallant troops who are making sacrifices and putting their lives on the line to protect the country. Well, let's now talk security. Several ISWAP fighters have been killed by the Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole in Borno State, northeast Nigeria. Air Force spokesperson Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, in a statement, said the terrorists were killed at multiple locations within Kalaram, a settlement in the fringes of Lake Chad. He says the onslaught was part of the ongoing Operation Green Sweep 3. According to Daramola, the strikes were carried out following human intelligence reports that the terrorists had gathered at 3 different locations. He further stated that the ammunition of the jets hit the desired points of impact, causing damage to the buildings and neutralizing dozens of the insurgents. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Army has issued an advisory to all soldiers, warning them to tread carefully anywhere they sight police officers in the coming weeks. The directive comes days after some soldiers opened fire on police officers on an investigative mission in Taraba, killing 3 of them. Although the Army defended its actions, claiming they mistook the policemen for kidnappers, the police has, however, rejected the excuse, saying the Army intentionally slaughtered the policemen. The Army advisory dated August 9 urged officers of the force to avoid wearing uniforms while traveling and be cautious while dealing with police officers. It also accused the police of making inciting and inflammatory comments over the Taraba face-off. A disciplinary committee has now been set up by the Defense Headquarters to probe the incidents that led to the face-off. The Benue State Police Command has confirmed the abduction of Sawa Borigio, Provost, College of Education, Katsina Allah. Spokesperson for the State Police Command, Catherine Anene, said Borigio was abducted over the weekend on his way back from a burial. She charged all members of the public with useful information to come forward to help secure his freedom. Elsewhere in Lagos, unknown gunmen have abducted the son of Chief Imam of Odeomi, a boundary community between Lagos and Ogun Waterside. The gunmen were reported to have also abducted 2 brothers before escaping on a speedboat. Still in Lagos State, the State Police Command says it has arrested over 100 armed robbery suspects on the Mile 2 Badagry Expressway. The arrests were made between January and August 2019. Mohammed Ali, Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations in Lagos State, announced their arrest on Monday. He says the arrests were made following public complaints on incessant armed robbery on the expressway. President Muhammadu Buhari has applauded the election of Ralph Akinfeleye into the World Journalism Education Council. Akinfeleye is the first African to achieve such feat. In a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, President Buhari congratulated Akinfeleye over his new appointment. He says the election of the University of Lagos done in Paris, France last week hoists Nigeria's flag proudly once again in the international arena. Buhari urged Akinfeleye to serve diligently in the 3-year term in which he would represent not only Nigeria but the entire African continent. More than 600 participants from 7 countries took part in the World Journalism Education Congress, where Akinfeleye was elected. Health experts are calling for more awareness on the importance of exclusive breastfeeding for infants below 6 months of age. The call was made on the sidelines of the World Breastfeeding Week. They say exclusive breastfeeding benefits both mother and child. This next report has more. When a woman gives birth, her body provides for the nutritional needs of a newborn with a flow of breast milk. But infants are sometimes denied this natural food rich in nutrient and energy. Latest data from the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, indicates that only 25% of children born in Nigeria are exclusively breastfed from 0 to 6 months of age. Nutrition experts say both mother and child are exposed to avoidable health risks when exclusive breastfeeding is not practiced.
The baby is prone to obesity. There's research that says that children who are not well breastfed, are not breastfed exclusively, are prone to obesity in later life. In fact, most non-communicable diseases, the baby is actually exposed to them. Then the baby suffers this separation from the mother, and they might not do too well in later life with that.
Collins also highlights the many benefits of exclusive breastfeeding for mother and child.
It helps to protect against allergies and eczema, like skin problems for the baby. It also reduces the risk of viral and urinary tract infections. And then there's also, babies are prone to this diarrhea. There's this diarrhea, they get water or any other breast milk substitute, but they don't get that when they are breastfed. Mind you, the breast milk is customized for mother and child also. Yeah. Then it also makes your baby smarter. In fact, that's one of the heightened reasons why people actually breastfeed for that long. I want to believe I was breastfed for 2 years, even though I'm not too sure or accurate on that, but it makes the baby actually smarter. Yeah. And then it prevents obesity, like I mentioned, and then it also lowers the risk of the mother being prone to breast and ovarian cancer. Then it heals the body. Breastfeeding not only helps the mother get some health benefits, like the ovarian cancer thing I mentioned, and osteoporosis for the mother. It also helps the mother bond properly with the baby, because as she's breastfeeding and the baby is suckling on her, there's this eye contact. So that's actually, this is my mother. Anytime she's around, I'm fed, It helps with bonding.
If exclusive breastfeeding has this much benefit, then why do some mothers avoid it?
Talked about something we call niplash. That's like nipple whiplash. It's a very painful experience for most mothers when you're breastfeeding your baby and then the baby gets distracted and tries to look around the room, thereby pulling your nipple because they are still latched on, something we call latching. When the baby's mouth is latched on the nipple and the baby has to look around because they are distracted or something, it's a very painful thing. Most mothers dread that actually. And then there are some other things. So some mothers feel, because I'm not flowing and the baby is sucking, it's painful. For the pain, for the inconvenience, you mentioned picture perfect and all. These are some of the reasons why most mothers recently would not want to do that.
Health experts say complementary food and water can be introduced to infants from the age of 6 months. But what exactly are these complementary foods?
Complementary feeding can start after 6 months up until 2 years. Breastfeeding also can go, hand in hand with that. But it's important that I mention that complementary feeding has to be done in a way that fits the child's developmental stage. So, what are complementary foods? These are foods that just support the breastfeeding. Okay, I'm taking out water here now because water is not necessarily a food. Okay, now these complementary foods would consist of infant cereals, like most mothers are already currently doing, vegetables, and mostly protein-rich foods actually. But the consistency or the texture, how it should be administered to the child should be something pureed, more like a puree, or strained, or very like, in fact, I don't think, I won't support chopping, but some people chop it slightly so that the baby can at least chew. But because of they don't have developed gum and teeth, I think it's best giving it to them in pureed form.
Despite the benefit of breastfeeding for both mother and child, lactation failure or the pressure to retain a job sometimes deprives both parties of the experience. But the federal government has introduced the National Breastfeeding Policy to promote exclusive breastfeeding for at least 6 months and to protect the maternity rights of working mothers. Fidelia Aguncha, TV360, Nigeria. You're still watching News Now. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go away.
Madam, no. These drugs are very scarce, so we don't have them here. Go to the next building. There's a paying pharmacy there. You buy it from there.
The drugs I have on my list of prescription is what I am seeing here.
Do you know the packets are empty or they're expired? I mean, go and buy drugs from the next pharmacy. You're here telling me my own job. Rubbish.
Tell me another lie, because I was here yesterday when this new set of drugs were delivered here.
Don't see the drugs, though. I didn't know I was on leave yesterday. Why you not tell me say that? Good for nothing, prognosing doctor. Now inside you come here.
Hey, I heard that. Do you know how many lives you will save by giving out those drugs? Or do you know how many lives you are killing by holding those same drugs? You are the same set of people saying that government is corrupt. Government is corrupt. Now you are at your duty post. Are you not corrupt? You are sacked. Yes, because that is corruption. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country. Stop corruption now.
Welcome back. The federal government has attributed the delay in the implementation of the consequential adjustment of the 30,000 naira minimum wage to the unrealistic demands of labor unions. Chairman, National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission, Richard Egbule, in an interview explained that the current demand of the labor unions would raise the total wage bill too high, and that was why government could not accept their proposed salary adjustment. Egbule said at the last meeting between the federal government and the labor unions, the government proposed a 10% increment for level 7 to 14 and a 5.5% increase for level 15 to 17. He advised labor to come to a compromise because the government had so far been magnanimous in agreeing to increase salaries without any threat to downsizing. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, has warned Nigerians to desist from investing their money in investment schemes operated by persons or organizations that are not registered to carry out fund management functions. The warning was given by Acting Director General of SEC, Mary Uduk, in a statement released over the weekend. She said the warning became necessary following various unregistered schemes luring unsuspecting Nigerians with tempting returns. The Commission also warned investors to be wary of any investment proposing a return level that was unreasonably very high. Oil prices edged lower on Monday amid worries about an economic slowdown and the Sino-US trade war, which have led to a cut in growth outlook for global oil demand. Brent crude futures were at $58.40 a barrel, down by 13 cents from their previous settlement, while U.S. crude futures were at $53.33 a barrel, down by 17 cents from their last close. Both benchmarks fell last week, with Brent losing more than 5% and U.S. crude falling more than 2%. The U.S.-China trade dispute rocked global equity markets last week, while a surprise build in U.S. crude stocks added a downward pressure to oil prices, which have lost around 20% from their 2019 peaks reached in April. And on the foreign scene, Zimbabwe have secured 2 loans of more than $42.5 million from India to boost the generation of electricity in the country. Since May, power has only been available in Zimbabwe for 7 hours each day, coming on late at night. The government on Monday announced that the Finance Ministry had concluded the loan agreement in the last few months. Now, according to the government, a drought led to low water levels at the major hydroelectric dam of Kariba. The country also has little financial capacity to import all of its power needs. And to sports, after 5 days of intense play, winners have emerged at the 2019 International Table Tennis Federation Open staged in Lagos, Nigeria. The tournament featured professionals from over 30 countries. This next report has more. The indoor sports hall of the Teslim Balogun Stadium is filled to capacity with tennis lovers who have gathered to witness the 2019 ITTF Nigeria Open Final. The tournament is divided into 7 categories: men and women singles, men and women doubles, mixed doubles, and the under-21 singles. In the men's singles, Nigeria's Aruna Quadri crushed Austria's Gardo Robert in a thrilling 6-contested set to lift the trophy. He dedicates his victory to all Nigerian players and supporters at the event.
The victory belongs to all the Nigerian players, all the Nigerians, and everyone here who came here in large number, giving me support, motivating me. So I think all this title belongs to almost all of them.
The women's single was dominated by Russia as Polina Mikhailova defeated her colleague Yana Noskvosa to clinch her second career win at an ITTF challenge.
The crowd is amazing. I think nowhere we saw such a crowd. They are supporting everyone, just sometimes maybe a little bit too noisy, but this like we are not so used to this. But the atmosphere is good. It's feeling great, of course, and we are happy that we could manage this. This was not easy, but we done, and now we can enjoy, of course.
Expressing satisfaction with the outcome of the tournament, Chairman Lagos Sports Commission highlights the benefit of the tournament to organizers while thanking the state governor for his support.
Positive highlights. The first one definitely is to thank His Excellency Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu for the support that he has given onto sports. He's just been in government for less than 8 weeks now, and we have successfully hosted 4 international events: the Lagos International Badminton Classics, the African Cup Table Tennis, the African Club Championships in Table Tennis, and then this one in the space of about 3 or 4 weeks. Without the support of His Excellency, we will not have been able to achieve that. So that tells us that indeed he's out to support sports. And we at the Lagos State Sports Commission, we highly are appreciative of that, and we look forward to many more. The other benefits, of course, include the capacity building for our staff. We have built over the years capacity for organizing international sports events. We have the template, and each time we just have to add here, subtract there, and improve on it. But the main template is there, and we keep on benefiting from it. And of course, the economic benefits to Lagosians is something that we cannot discountenance.
President of the Nigeria Table Tennis Federation speaks on the performance of the country's representatives, promising better results at the All Africa Games coming up in Morocco.
We are going to sustain the momentum. The All Africa Games is just by the corner. So we're just to sustain the momentum and beef on it more to make sure that we face the challenge in Rabat.
In other categories of the event, Russia came out top in the women's single and double, while Romania dominated the under-21 category of the tournament. The winners will share the prize money of $60,000. Fidelia Aguncha, TV360, Lagos. And that is on News Now. Many thanks for watching. I am Fidelia Aguncha. Happy Eid celebrations.